Okay, here we go. First one, solve for B and show all your steps. First step, distribute the 2. So I get 12B minus 2 plus 6 equals 6B. And then here I've got a negative in front of the parentheses, so I distribute that. Minus 3B plus 14. And then combine up like terms on both sides. I have a minus 2 and a plus 6. So that gives me 12B plus 4 equals. Here I have a 6B minus 3B. That gives me 3B plus 14. Get my B's on all on one side, subtract 3B from both sides. And I get 9B plus 4 equals 14. And then I'm going to move this up to here. 9B plus 4 equals 14. Subtract 4 from both sides. 9B equals 10. Divide by 9. And B equals 10 ninths. And that's my answer. On the second one, when I have a proportion, I set up the ratio. My ratio is ounces and M&Ms. So the number of M&Ms over ounces. That's what my ratio is. So I fill in the blanks. A 5-ounce package has 53 candies in it. So 53 over 5 is equal to how many candies? X over a 2-pound, and we need to use the ounces, 32 ounces. Okay, to solve this problem, we cross multiply. 5 times X, 53 times 32. So I get 5X equals 53 times 32. 53 times 32. 1,996, sorry. 1,600, oh man, I'm messing that all up. 1,696, divide both sides by 5, X equals, and it says round to the nearest candy, X equals 339.2, but if I round to the nearest candy, X equals 339, rounding it to the nearest candy. Okay, next one. Solve and graph compound inequalities on the number line. So I have a compound inequality. I have an inequality here and an inequality here. So everything I do, I have to do to 1, 2, 3 places. First step, subtract 4. So I subtract 4 and I subtract 4. Negative 14 is less than or equal to 2x, which is less than 14. Divide this by 2 to get x by itself. Divide that by 2. Divide that by 2. Negative 7 is less than or equal to x, which is less than 7. So now I have to plot my points. Because it's an or equal to, I have a filled in circle on negative 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is where negative 7 is. And I have a filled in dot. Because it's not or equal to on this one, I have an open circle on 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's 7. I have an open circle. And where's my x? My x is between those two numbers. Next. Solve and graph the absolute value equations. I'm not going to worry about graphing. I'm just going to worry about solving. So when I have absolute values, I need to create 2 problems. The first problem in both of them, I have the inside of the absolute value does not change. So I have 3x minus 6, and then I have, as it stands without the absolute value, less than 12. And then I have to change the sign of when I'm equal to, or in this case, less than, from 12 to negative 12. And if I change the sign, I change the direction of the inequality. And now I just solve each problem individually. Add 6. 3x is less than 18. Divide by 3. X is less than 9. Add 6. 3x is greater than negative 6. Divide by 3. X is greater than negative 2. And because this is less than, this is an and. So this is and. Same idea on the next one. I'm going to pause for. Okay, here we go again. Same idea. I have 2x minus 1 is greater than 7, and 2x minus 1 is less than negative 7. And because this is a greater than here, my answer is going to be an or. Now I solve each problem. Add 1 to each side. 2x is greater than 8. Divide by 2. X is greater than 4. Add 1 again. 2x is less than negative 6. Divide both sides by 2. X is less than negative 3. And this is an or. Okay, next problem. Okay, so this one's a little difficult. It's stepped in. A clown at the Flying Brothers Circus is shot into the air from a cannon. As part of his act, he flies through a 6-foot diameter ring of fire. The clown's flight path can be represented as a function of height, h in feet, over time, that is elapsed to t in seconds, as h of t, equals negative 16 minus 2 squared plus 67. So the idea is, first thing we're going to do is set up a table of values. We're going to go from 0, because there's not going to be negative time. So we're going to let t equal 0. We're going to let t equal 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we're going to one at a time plug them into that equation. So I have negative 16 times 0 minus 2 squared plus 67. 0 minus 2 is 2. 2 squared is 4. 4 times negative 16, that gives me negative 64, plus 67, that gives me 3. So his height at time 0 is 3. He's 3 feet off the ground to begin with. At time 1, I have negative 16, 1 minus 2 squared, plus 67 equals. So 1 minus 2 is 1. Sorry, negative 1. Negative 1 squared is 1. So I have negative 16 plus 67, which is, let's see, 57 minus 6. So that's 51 feet off the ground. So he's 51 feet off the ground at the end of the first second. Keep going. Negative 16, 2 minus 2 squared plus 67 is equal to, this part here is 0, 2 minus 2 is 0, squared is 0, times 16 is 0, so he's 67 feet off the ground after 2 seconds. After 3 seconds, negative 16, 3 minus 2 squared plus 67. 3 minus 2 is 1, 1 squared is 1 times 16, negative 16. It's negative 16 plus 67. He's at 51 feet again. And then on 4, negative 16, 4 minus 2 squared plus 67 is equal to negative 64 plus 67. He's back at 3 feet off the ground after 4 seconds. Plot those points. At time 0, he starts out at 3, which is about here. At 1 second, he's 51 feet off the ground, which is about here. At 2 seconds, he's 67 feet off the ground, which is about here. At 3 seconds, he's 51 feet off the ground again, right about here. And at 4 seconds, he's 3 feet off the ground here. So he travels in an arc like this. Okay. And the question at the bottom, at what time is the clown 40 feet off the ground? Well, he's 40 feet off the ground from Here is 40 feet off the ground. Here is 40 feet off the ground. At what time is it 40 feet? Well, this is about 0.8 seconds, and this is about 3.2 seconds. So that would be, and there's not enough room to write down here, at 0.8 seconds and 3.2 seconds. Okay. Find the 40 foot mark, go across. Where do the two things cross each other? That's where it happens. Okay, graph a linear equation, convert the line to slope-intercept form, graph the equation. You do not need to convert it to slope-intercept form. What I would do instead, I really don't care, but which one you do, what I would do instead of doing that is use x and y intercepts. First one, let x be 0. When x is 0, you get 6y equals 24, because your x's go away. Divide by 6, and y equals 4. That's my y-intercept. Go 1, 2, 3, 4 spots on the y-axis. For the second one, the x-intercept, let y equal 0. I get 8x equals 24. Divide by 8. X equals 3. That's my x-intercept. 1, 2, 3 on the x-axis. And my line passes through those 2 points. And that is that.